We are in Yaakov, and it's Gemara Brachot 55 before. If I had to call this course, this class anything, it would be Dream On or Fairy Tales May Come True. It could happen to you. Okay, either one of those things. So first we start, before we get to that, we have two parts before we get into dream interpretation. It says, Petach ve'idach amar, the other one began and said the following, Hi, man dechalish, concerning one who takes ill, Yom Akama lo legale, the first day he doesn't feel well, he should not reveal this to anybody, because as Rashi explained, if he reveals to anybody, it could become worse for him. He could be fulfilling that. He could start the case against him even worse than it is up in Gan Eden or the heavenly court. Wait a second. And because anytime we get sick, it's because of the heavenly court deciding that we have to do some tshuva. So if I'd rather not announce it and just let it happen, and maybe it'll go away. And that's sometimes what does happen. You have a sore throat, you don't feel good, you go to sleep, the next day is good. Yeah, what's your question?
Is that because when you're sick and you tell people you're sick, people are going to daven for you, and by davening for you, they bring up a case?
No, that's going to be the second part, and you'll hear. Ki mazle, and the Gemara says, so his luck will not worsen. Mikan ve'elech legali. After that, if the illness persists, let him tell everybody. Then they're going to daven for him. That's the point. You want people to daven for you. But while the illness is still new, he explains, it would be counterproductive to announce it. For in doing so, it might have the very effect of intensifying the sickness. However, on the second day, the illness is already established, and thus the pronouncement of illness can be only prove beneficial. So, and that's all based upon this concept of liolam al yivtach adam piv, that the satan, that a person should not give Satan, the divine prosecutor, an opening. And it's we learned before that the Gemara cautions that one not ought to speak of punishments he believes he might deserve, for by doing so he gives the divine prosecutor an opening to demand that he be punished as he has spoken. So again, we're extending that here right now to say that you don't want to speak when you first get sick. You don't tell anybody. You don't feel good, shah still, be quiet. The second day already you can tell people. So we have a story about this. Ki haida Rava did this on occasion. Ki hava chalish, when he would take ill yom kamalo megale. The first day he didn't say anything. Mikana elech. From that point on, Armalei the he said to a servant, Puk, go out, achreis, and announce Rava chalash. Rava is sick. Mandarachemli, the people who love me, they're going to daven to Hashem and ask for mercy on my behalf. They're going to be running to the base Knesset. They're going to be saying Tehillim. They're going to be saying Hashem Racham V'chanun, heal this guy, or as Moshe Rabbeinu said about his sister. What was it? Say again. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Kel na Rafan Allah. That's what it is. 5 simple words. Kel na, God, please. Rafan Allah, heal her now. Simple 5 words. But that's what's going to happen. If people love me, they're going to do that. I, on the other hand, Amad the people who hate me, Lechdeli, they're going to be happy I'm sick. You hear that? Those who don't like me, they'll be overjoyed that I don't feel good or that I'm sick. Uchtiv, and it's written. Why would he want that? Bin Pol Ayivcha Al Tismach. It says in Pirkei Avot. Well, it actually says it's also in Pirkei Avot, but it's also in Proverbs. Bin Pol Ayivcha. Shlomo Melech said, when your enemy falls, do not rejoice. V'chashlo al yagel libecha. And when he stumbles, don't let your heart be joyous. Why? Pen yira Hashem. Maybe Hashem will see how you feel. V'ra beinav, and it will be displeasing in his eyes. Ve'eshemi alav, and turn his anger away from him and put on the person who's happy. But the bottom line is, he says, I have a good plan. On the second day he would announce, go out, tell everybody I'm sick. Those who love me will daven for me. Those who hate me will be happy. When they're happy, they're going to be rejoicing. Hashem now looks at them and says, you're rejoicing over this guy's sickness. Nebuch, you should have davened for him. But now, Nebuch means pity. Okay, but now I'm going to redo the case and see if you deserve to be healthy. So I'll take it away from him. I'm putting it to you. Okay, if both of you deserve it, obviously both of you will be sick. But you're trying to get away from that. So now, now we get into dreams. So Shmuel, yeah.
For if you get sick on the first day, you don't tell anybody because you don't want to intensify it.
Correct.
Second day, then it's established so you can tell everybody.
Correct.
Are there any exceptions, like if you're living during some sort of exceptionally contagious plague?
Why wouldn't you want people to die? I mean, on the first day.
On the first day, you. Oh wait, I'm living. I have the first symptoms of the plague, which could just be a cough or something.
Well, if it's just a cough, you wouldn't know you're sick.
Right.
You have a temperature.
But you know there's a immensely contagious plague going on, like a serious plague.
No, so what the Gemara is saying is you do tshuva. I mean, the first attack for anybody is to do tshuva. What happened? Why am I always tell people, let's say you have a sore throat. Like my voice constantly is going these days. So I have to even make a choice. Either I'm not, can just go very physically about this, saying that I'm not drinking enough water. And that's a very simple thing. It could be I have allergies. Who knows what's going on out there. Or it could be I'm speaking Lashon Hara. Simple as that. Because if I just look for the physical reasons and not the spiritual reasons, I'm not doing the repair that Hashem wants me to do. Because nothing comes without Hashem wanting that to happen. Remember, like I always say, I can want a lot of things, I can make my endeavors, but bottom line, success or failure is on God. So I can work out all day. I can take all my vitamins. I can be, what's it called when you drink a lot of water? I can be hydrated, thank you. I can be well hydrated, and therefore all the doctors would say to me, and they would look at my throat and say, there's nothing wrong with you. But why am I speaking like this? So the doctor should look at me and say, because you spoke Lashon Hara. You are from me. Okay? You spoke slanderous about something. You did something, Motzi Shemra, or you used your voice incorrectly. You yelled at the wrong person, and Hashem is trying to tell you, you're not used, or you didn't say, you didn't rebuke somebody when you should have rebuked them. So now I'm taking it away from you. Okay? So again, I have to review my day and say, okay, why is this happening? As somebody whose ears are blocked, happens too. So what happens? Again, I can always say I'm manufacturing too much wax in my ears. Could be I have an allergy. Again, let's go through all the physical elements. Or it could be that I'm listening to Lashon Hara. Or the other way, I'm not listening to people. And Hashem, and I should be listening. So Hashem is saying, I'm going to show you what you should, that you're going to have difficulty hearing, and you're going to realize it, and then you're going to start thinking, what should I do? Now again, I could go to the doctor, he could clear my ears out, he could give me the allergy pills, he could give me a throat, and get rid of all that stuff. My hearing may not improve until I realize, wait a second, what's going on? Hashem, why are you doing this to me? So why? In other words, what I do? Let me do tshuva. The whole thing again. For Jews, the whole approach is God is giving me warning signs. Now, depending on how much I listen, will determine how little of a knock I have to get. Okay, in other words, I could get just a simple sore throat, which will go away. Or, God forbid, Plony could pick up the plague. But we all know one thing. And this is also medical fact. A mother can be with her kids who are all sick and not get it. The most amazing thing about mothers, or whoever the caretaker is actually, they don't fall down. They don't, all these nurses, doctors, nurses, teachers, after a while, the first day of school you get all the colds. But after that, we built up so much immunity to all these things that you're not going to get it. How many teachers go down? I mean, think about that. The kids are going down every day, but the teachers don't go down. Why not? Because You're going to say immune system. What I'm saying is, God says to those teachers, you're such tzaddikim. Every day, you're such righteous people. Every day you go in to teach those kids, because the parents can't, whatever else. You really are giving up your time and your money. Because let's face it, I don't care which system you're in, teachers are not paid well. They're not. The best paid teachers are not paid like the CEOs of the country. That is not. That is not. Teachers are, what's the old expression? For those who can, they do. Those who can't teach, right? Something like that? Okay. So it was always seen as a negative. Oh, you're a teacher. Okay, you're basically, what's it called? Section 8, a pauper. You can't do anything else. And yet the teachers are the ones who are giving up everything in order to teach. And there's somewhere everybody looks at a teacher's life and, 3 months off. It's not 3 months off. You have to prepare, you have to do your grading, you have to get ready, you have to go in. Nobody sees that. On top of that, you go home and you have to do all the stuff again. Nobody realizes. Really, in reality, I'm speaking, you know exactly what I'm saying. Nobody realizes the problems that a teacher has and the amount of time that a good teacher, if those teachers don't do anything anymore, I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about the good teachers. They really put their time and they don't get paid. So it could be that Hashem is rewarding them, but they get killed on lunchtime. With all the Lashon Hara they do. But otherwise, when you talk about the kids, so good. But otherwise, let's face it, they're really giving their life up. And so Hashem may give them a reward. And like the parents, may give them a reward that you won't get sick. I'm going to stop this because you need to be there. And that's your tough kid, that's your purpose. So it could be as simple as that. Because otherwise, logically, you should be getting sick, right? Logically. It's all contagious. But that's what's going on here. Okay? So that's whenever we think of sickness, we always have to go back to what teshuvah do I have to do? And again, I will say this over and over and over again. I'm not saying don't take the aspirins. I'm not saying don't take the antibiotics. I'm not saying don't go to doctors. Go do what you have to do. But understand that all of that stuff will not work if you don't correct your spiritual defect. It'll just pick up some other place. You'll get rid of that cold. I mean, how many people have that cold, that flu for the whole winter? Yeah. Because they can't, no matter what they do, they can't get rid of it. And you did it so they give you higher, bigger drugs. If you would have done teshuvah, that's what we're saying. If you had done teshuvah along with that, then that stuff could have helped. It may have got you out. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a Christian Scientist here. I'm not going to say don't go to doctors, because we don't hold by that. But we say you do have to go to doctors. Rapol Yerapeh. It says in the Torah, Rapol Yerapeh. You shall surely be healed. You're the doctor. Let him heal you. I gave the doctor license as God gave the doctor a license as it were to repair you. We have to go. We have to listen to what they say for the most part, unless they're wrong. And then you have to know that too. Again, that's part of knowing yourself. This didn't work. But but again, with all that, you do tshuva. Point is to do tshuva. Okay, good. Now we go on to dreams. Like I said, Shmuel kihava chaze chelma bisha. When Shmuel would see a bad dream, Amar, he would say the following verse: "V'chalamot hashavei daberu." Dreams speak lies. That comes from Zechariah, and so he would say that verse. That would be his verse. He would have a bad dream when he would wake up. Chalamot hashav yidaberu. They speak lies. Lies. That's it. They're not true. Okay. Ki have chaze chelmatava. But when we have a positive dream, he would say, and again, this is Hebrew grammar. Everybody knows at this point. He would use the interrogative hey. V'chi hachalomot hashavei yedaberu. Do dreams speak lies? Meaning not. So okay, he would take the simple pasuk v'chalamot hashavei yedaberu, and then he would add the hey, interrogative hey. V'chi hachalomot hashavei yedaberu. But do dreams speak lies? Meaning not. Turn the page. Okay. And so then, surely it's written in ours. You can't. How do you use a verse two ways? So he says. So he continues. Surely it's written. B'chalom adibirbo, when Hashem was speaking to Moshe's brother and sister Miriam and Aaron after they indicted him. Actually, after she indicted him on being divorced from Zipporah, saying God also spoke to us. So God comes to both of them and says, how can you say to my servant Moshe, any other prophet, in a dream I speak to him. So if that's true, if God's speaking to him in a dream, so that means that dreams are prophetically true. So Shmuel would say, on one hand, when you have a bad dream, like I say, he would say, Chalamot, what was it? Chalamot hashavi daberu, that dreams speak lies. When he had a good one, hachalamot hashavi daberu, they speak lies. It can't be. But chalom adeberu, it says, in the dream I will speak with them. So it must mean, in that case, the dreams are real. Okay, that's what he. Yeah.
How do you get away with saying dreams are lies then? When you have a bad one.
Oh, great question. We're about to hit it. If you look in the Gemara, you'll see it. Okay, that's the question. Rava is good logic. You see that? You could have been a philosophy major. There you go. Rava Rami. So Rava posed a contradiction between the two verses. Kativ v'chalam adibebo. It says in the dream, I will speak with him. Uchtiv, and then it's your question. V'chalamot hashavi daberu. Dreams speak lies, implying that they have no prophetic meaning. So you can't have both. That's your question. Not only yours, but it's also Rava's. There you go. So you're right with the Gemara. So Rava answers his own question. He says, Lo kasha, it's not a difficulty. Kan aide malach. When it's saying b'chalom ad birbo, that is a dream that was, or a statement that was said through a malach, through an angel. On the other hand, when it says this lies, kan ayde shade, that dream is talking through the agency of a demon. So okay, so now we're going to get into this whole thing, and this again is all in your article. He looks at dreams, their meaning and interpretation. So we're going to go through a little of that and see actually the whole thing and see what goes on as far as the Maharsha is concerned, and also the Kotev, the Ein Yaakov. Says various commentators find difficulty with the notion that the meaning and possible prophetic import of a dream. I'm sorry, I have to just do one more and you'll see what we're going. So let me just finish the Gemara again. Let's go back to the Gemara. It says Amarav Vizna Bar Zavda Amarav Akiva. So Rav Vizna, son of Zavda, said the following name of Rav Akiva, Amarav Panda Amarav Nachum, who in turn said in the name of Rav Panda, who in turn said in the name of Nachum, Ama Rabbi Rayim, who in turn said in the name of Rabbi Rayim, Mishum Zakim Echad, who said it in the name of a certain elder. So the Gemara stops and says, Umanu, who's this elder? Rav Bana'a. So we have a long tradition to what we're about to say. So the Gemara resumes, and it says, Esrim v'arba'a potrei chalom Yerushalayim. There were 24 dream interpreters residing in Yerushalayim. Pam achad chalamti chalom. One day, I, Reb Bena'ah, had a dream. V'halachti etzel kulam, and I went to all 24 interpreters for their interpretation. Uma shapatali. And what this one's interpreted, lo patali said, the other one did not interpret. In other words, I had 24 different interpretations to what I dreamt. And lo and behold, v'chulam nitkaimu bi, yet all 24 interpretations were realized for me. And the kayim mashenamar, to establish or to fulfill what the Torah says, kol hacholamot holchin acher hapeh, that all dreams follow the interpretation. So that's what we said many times before. When we're talking about dream interpretations, when we're talking about dreams, the best, if you have a good dream, a bad dream, whatever, and you go to somebody and they say to you, and you tell them the dream, and they interpret it for you, that is it could be a bad situation, because the dream follows interpretation. Which is why Yosef went to his brothers, said, I had a dream, what did God say? And they interpreted, and so on and so forth. And it turned out good, and so on.
It's best to just let it lie and not interpret it?
Yes, if you have a dream,
especially a bad dream.
Certainly, if you have a bad dream, you don't know what people are going to say. So it's the Gemara says, and we're going to touch this in this section. The Gemara says, if you don't tell a dream, that is like a letter that was never delivered. Never read, period.
So nothing happens, in other words.
Nothing happens. So here we go. Now let's look at this. It says various commentators, in note 53, various commentators find difficulty with the notion that the meaning and possible prophetic import of a dream is determined by an interpretation someone imputes to it. The notion certainly seems counterintuitive, and indeed it appears to be contradicted by other statements made by the Gemara earlier. For example, if it is truly the case that the dream has no objective meaning, rather its meaning is determined by its interpretation, how are we to construe the Gemara's earlier statement that a quote-unquote positive dream is never shown to a good person? If no dream has any real meaning, save for what an interpreter happens to attribute to it, there's truly no such thing as a negative dream at all. Okay? By the way, to go into politics for 1 second, this is actually, it's not politics, it's, again, philosophy. Relative morals versus absolute morals. If there's only relative morals, that changes depending on society. Yep. If it's absolute morals, which Torah is absolute morals, religion is, Judaism is absolute moral. I won't say our religion. But it's then they cannot change, regardless of what's going on, which is why, now the political statement, which is why for Orthodox Judaism, homosexuality and all the aberrations, if you will, are not moral for us, period, because the Torah says so. Not because I disagree with it, not because whatever. The Torah says one cannot act in such a manner. That's the moral that Hashem gave. We consider that an absolute moral, period. Okay, so that's how it is. So there can be no interpretation for that. Mm-hmm. Unlike if you go to, and I once asked this to my Reform colleague, not here, but another place, they have in their Siddur, they say, for the wicked. I say, well, how can you have wicked when you have informed choice? What do you define as wicked? In other words, we define wicked as somebody who's not following Jewish law, period. Okay, so you're not following Jewish law, you are that wicked. You're the Malshinim. You're the one who are informing. You're who we're dealing with. You're the Russia. Okay, so, but they, if you, according to informed choice, I tell you what the law is, I tell you the different variants, and if it speaks to you, you follow it. If it doesn't, you don't. So I said, so if that's the case, how can you call anybody wicked? Yeah. And the answer was, it's a long story, and I don't have time. So I never got an answer to it. But it's, I welcome any of my Reform, conservative, whoever wants to speak to that, to call me directly or to respond to me. I have no problem.
Philosophy course.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the answer would be, because that's the problem. That's what the Kotev is doing with here. How can you say it's a bad dream if it's going by interpretations? Yeah. And he's going to give examples to this. Okay? So he says, respond to these and other questions. The Maharsha makes a broad attempt to reconcile the widely varying statements made by the Gemara concerning dreams and their meanings. In doing so, Maharsha posits that there are three distinct types of dreams. Again, if you follow along, it'll be better for you guys. The type of first dream is that one has, the first type of dream is one that has no single objective meaning. Rather, it carries a multiplicity of potential meanings. For example, one may see a certain image in a vision, lettuce. And that image may be simultaneously associated with several potential events. For example, bitter experiences, similar to the bitter lettuce leaves, or doubling of business profits, like the doubled over lettuce leaves. In other words, I see something, I can say good or I can say bad.
Yeah.
As long as the dream remains uninterpreted, the actual meaning of the dream remains undetermined. In this respect, the dream remains, as it were, like a letter which has not been read, as I said before. Okay? Its contents are meaningless to someone who ignores them. Interpretation, though, imputes credence to that aspect of potential meaning highlighted by the interpreter. Hence, once one seeks an interpreter and that person gives an interpretation consonant with the dream, in other words, it has to speak to you. You have to agree with it. That was Paro's problem. For those who remember the story, Paro went to, after he had dreams about the stalks of grain, the cows, the fat cows and the skinny cows. Skinny cows eat the fat cows, but don't gain weight. Then you have the stalks of wheat. So he went to his interpreters. Remember, this is Pharaoh. This is the cream of the crop. And he has all these interpreters, and he says, okay, I'm paying you money. No. What's the interpretation? So they say, you're going to have 7 daughters, they're going to die. Okay. He listens to all these interpreters, and he's thinking, you guys, you're a bunch of Nevi'e Sheker. It doesn't speak to me. What you're saying doesn't make sense to me. It's craziness. I'm Pharaoh. And so now they pull up Yosef, and he tells them what's going to happen about the famine. And that spoke to him. He said, that makes sense because I'm a leader of a country. I'm not just dreaming for myself. I'm dreaming for everybody. And he said, God speaking to me. Oh, it must be true. God's speaking to me. I mean, he used all the right words. I'm sure he meant them, but the point is that the interpretation made sense to Pharaoh. As a result, Pharaoh acted upon that. When we hear an interpretation of a dream, and this is very psychological, when we hear the interpretation of a dream and it makes sense to us, that becomes the prophecy. And sometimes it's self-fulfilling. I'm going to work towards that. You're going to have double profits. I'm going to have double
that's
profits.
the pick and choose. You pick the one. You go all these different interpreters. You pick the one.
No, but the point is, depending on who I go to, in other words, I trust the guy, and it speaks to me. Okay. So then I'm going to. I may not be. I may not recognize that I'm working towards it, but I'm going to start working towards that shortly. Yeah. That's how I'm interpreting the Maharsha here. That's again, people want to disagree, can disagree. But I think that's what's going on. It has to talk to me. I have to agree with what you're saying. Otherwise, it's a bunch of baloney. Okay? So it says that aspect of dreams meaning is buttressed and can move from the realm of potential to the actual. As such, the interpretation does not itself create meaning. Rather, it highlights latent elements of meaning already there, thus transforming them into harbingers of events having real prophetic import. That's one type. Second type of dream consists of a vision that, objectively speaking, does have a particular portent. It has one basic meaning, either positive or negative in nature. However, even dreams in this category can be influenced by interpretation. The positive meaning can be mitigated or perhaps reversed by negative interpretation. Examples of such dreams include the vision of a well, which, although having a objective positive connotation, peace, can nevertheless be transmuted negatively if, for example, the dreamer contemplates an ominous scriptural verse pertaining to wells. Or you can say of the person who drowns in a well, or you learn Gemara like that. So you have to be careful with that. The third type of dream described in the Maharsha is one which has true prophetic import. That is, its essential meaning is absolute and cannot be swayed by interpretation. It was this type of dream that Rava characterized as being delivered by angels. Examples of such dreams are the prophetic visions of Joseph, foretelling that his family would eventually bow down to him. So given this framework, the Maharsha contends that it was the first type of dream, a dream with no clear portent, but a multiplicity of potential meaning that Rava characterized as false. Such a dream is indeed the product of a connection between the soul and some sort of spiritual source, but that source is derogated as a demon, and the dream is not to be seen as a harbinger of any single definitive future event. It was again concerning this sort of dream that the Gemara says, dreams follow the mouth. The interpretation lent to the dream is significant as described above. Indeed, if many varying interpretations are imputed to the same dream, in the case of this Gemara, it's possible that all those foretold events will eventually transpire because they all spoke to you. So every time that something happens, you say, oh, that's what he says is going to happen. Okay, fine. Yeah, go ahead.
How can you get away with going to the first guy, having it speak to you, and then going to somebody else? Shouldn't the first one speak to you and then you go, all right, we're done?
Like second, and third, and fourth, and fifth opinion. He has 24. He wants to test it out.
So why not go to the next town over?
Oh yeah, 24. It's a sampling. Let me see what happens. Maybe he would go the next time. But I'm just saying that he was going. He had 24, so he's a big Rav. So let me see what's going to happen. And the point is, they all did talk. They all interpreted it the way that it would make sense. And that speaks to me means makes sense.
Maybe he knew that there were these 24 guys out there, and he just wanted to compare notes between all of them.
Right. I think, by the way, when you go to a doctor, you go to one doctor, and one doctor says A, and you don't like what the doctor says, so you go for a second opinion. And the second opinion is a second opinion. It's not even the same. So what do? You go to a third doctor, and a fourth doctor, and every doctor has their own little tights as to what they want to say. Now, if every doctor would agree, then you're out of luck, right? If you would go to 3 doctors and all 3 of them would say, this is what the problem is, and this is what the solution is, it's done. It's done. It's over. Yeah, unless they're all working for the same practice. Let's assume that you've really gone outside the field. Yeah. And let's assume, by the way, you've also gone to different types of doctors, just for argument's sake. So then, all of them are agreeing. Then you're stuck. But if you go to a doctor who is into health, what is it called? The healers, holistic. The holistic, and you go to and then you go to the chiropractor, and they go to this one, that one, and again, all of them, if they all say the same thing, again, you're sunk. But if they all have a different methodology, and it speaks to you, why not? I'll tell you, I've said it many times. Vision therapy. Everybody here has glasses. You don't wear glasses? Okay. Everybody here has glasses. There you go. And yet, what happens? If you believe in the Bates theory of vision therapy, which if you ask any ophthalmologist, any optometrist, they will tell you that Bates was a quack. He's no better. He's a witch. Bates. He's one who came up with vision therapy. He said, throw your glasses away. You don't need glasses. He said, those people are quacks. They're no good. They're going to ruin you. They're going to make you blind, blah, blah, blah. And they are as angry at those paraprofessionals, if you will, as doctors are to chiropractors. Okay? Chiropractors are witch doctors. They're worthless, yet they do you bang, 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 and you feel good. I don't know. So, you can get some quacks, but I'm sure some of the guys are good. But that's the point. So if it speaks to me, then, and I'm using psychology, if it speaks to me, so then when those things happen, I'm going to say, oh, see, the guy was right. They're not going to happen immediately. It's just going to happen. So 24 interpretations are all different. They can all, and by the way, when I have a dream, it doesn't mean it has to happen that day.
Right.
It can happen 6 months, 2 years later.
My point is, maybe not rob me, just some rich guy. If we're going to go 24, why stop?
You could. No, you could. You could. You could go to 100.
Right.
You could go 100. And again, if it makes sense to them, they may see some of those things, most of them come true. He's right. The Maharshal is saying that. Okay. If it's a questionable dream, which can go a lot of different ways, then it could be. So you could go to 100. It wouldn't matter. They were using 24, but it could be any number.
But it has to be a questionable dream. It can't be a definite dream.
Right. But again, all dreams are questionable, so you have to have that sort of thing. What's going on here? which is why when you go to a dream interpreter, you want to go to somebody who has a proven record. So I wouldn't run to Mrs. All these people you call on the telephone.
Dear Abby.
No, not Dear Abby. They have these psychics on the.
The psychic readings.
Right, psychic reading. I wouldn't go to psychic reading and say, I had a dream. It's not worth it. Please deposit your 20. Give me your MasterCard, and we'll see what the dream is. Okay. In the above discussion, the Maharsha characterizes dreams having some element of prophetic meaning. It goes without saying, though, that there are other dreams which are nothing but the imagination's flights of fancy and carrying no prophetic import whatsoever. Such dreams are discussed later in the Gemara. Okay, so now and that's connected to, he says, which the dreamer sees a vision connected to the events he was thinking about during the day. One other part of this, now dream interpretation of the power of speech. As mentioned above, an outgrowth of the position of the Maharsha is that a verbalized interpretation can affect the import of a dream. To support this somewhat counterintuitive notion, the Maharsha cites Semitic sources that impute real power to speech, notably the dictum that one ought regard with gravity words of blessings extended to him even by an ordinary, unremarkable person. That's what it says, Alti birkat hedyod kala benecha. Don't let the blessing of a simple person be light in your eyes. In a similar vein, the Rashba calls attention to the scriptural admonition not to articulate a curse against another person. If mere words truly have no import, such a curse would be meaningless and ought not to be forbidden. Rather, these sources support the notion that words can influence spiritual aspects of reality, a position taken by the Gemara as well. So the point is, when people are interpreting, you have to be very, very careful with what you want to say, and you shouldn't just say words. We have to be careful, and that's why when people say "drop dead," or something like that, or over my dead body, come hell or high water. Yeah. All of these statements, they have impact. And you really have to, I know one story that was told. The father didn't want the son to marry the son to marry who he did marry. And he said to the son, "You'll marry her over my dead body." The father died the day before the wedding, or something like that. Right before the wedding, he died. Boy. Because he said, now you could say it was coincidence. You could say what you want, but the Gemara is saying, no, don't say something that you don't want to happen. Yeah.
I thought you were going to go into that more over my dead body. They had the wedding on his.
No, you can't do that. That's not going to do. Yeah. But it's my father also said, "Come hell or high water, I'm going to do something." Yeah. And then Nebuch, his mother, got sick, and he did it again. And he said, and that's when he told us, never utter words like that. He said it to us.
What if you say the opposite? What if you say good things that are like this and this. This is good. This guy has a good track record, and he's going to do this and this and this.
Okay, so positive is good. Positive, nothing wrong with positive. You can always give a guy a bracha, but again, you have to be careful when you utter those statements that are obviously you don't mean it. Nobody means come hell or high water. Nobody means any of these things. It's an expression. You want to say, I'm going to do this. What everybody should say is, Emir Hashem is going to happen. Emir Hashem, you'll be a success. And that's what we always say, Emir Hashem. God willing, things will be this way. What?
God willing.
God willing. God willing, you should be Zaycha, you should be married to have to build a Bayis Nema B'Yisrael, to build a true house in Israel. We never say you will build. Emir Hashem, you should be Zaycha. If God will, you should be married to do something. Or you don't want to go the other way, certainly. Okay. You never want to go the other way. The point is, words have import. And you think that they mean nothing? No, words mean everything. Words create, words destroy. That's why really going on. Well, no, it's 38 minutes, so only you guys hearing this. That's why when it says, how did God create the world? Bracious, Vayomer, 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 Vayomer. He said, and it was. With words. With words.
Adam, the animals, with words.
Right.
The creative force.
He did everything with words. That's why they say the pen is mightier than the sword.
Aha.
It's not a joke. The pen is mightier than the sword. Words make an impact. And even though we don't, if you call somebody, what are you, an idiot? Whoa, you just destroyed that person. Why'd you do that to that person? A simple word. Now we always say, 6 inches on my brick, my bones, words will never harm me. It's the biggest lie in history. Biggest lie in history. And I don't repeat myself. That's all the Trump guys out there. I don't repeat myself. All right. I love what he said. Do you ever see that? He said, I don't repeat myself. I don't repeat myself. You're an idiot. Just repeat. Right? You just repeat yourself. Okay, we'll stop here.